What's good, y'all? Frank Comaneris here. And on this episode of the Quite Frankly Tho podcast, I got my brother. Not technically my brother. And I know I've been saying this a lot, but I feel like I've been blessed to meet people that have become so significant to my life that they're really no different than the family that I was born with. I met Tiger over a decade ago when I was doing local programming for the youth, talent shows and such. And he was a part of that, a very significant part of that. Some years later after meeting him, and I already knew he was involved in the film and photography space, I knew I wanted to dibble and dabble and make something happen and start a company of my own. Before I did that, I needed to learn a few things, and I knew he was the perfect person that could teach me. When I reached out so that I could learn from him, he welcomed me with open arms and gladly taught me everything he knew. So when I was ready to start a company of my own, I felt guilty doing it without reaching out to let him know that he could be a part of that if he so chose to. And he did, and so we launched Really Media together, the company that allowed me to move on from my full-time job and just do film for a living. Since then, though, Tiger has moved on to doing something that he was very much more passionate about because he's always been a person of purpose. It's never really been about dollars with Tiger. He's a person of integrity, a person that moves genuinely, and a person that leads with passion with anything he does. And so I'm going to let him talk about what he's been up to, where he's at with things, and we'll just see where the conversation goes. I haven't caught up with my brother in a little while, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'm gonna call my boy and see what's up.
Family.
Familia,
What's up, man?
what's good with you? How you been, man? What's going on over there? Where you at in the world right now, man?
In the world, man, I'm at ATL.
Mm.
ATL, I'm
How
down south.
how long you been out there now?
I've been out here now for a year. I've been out here for a year.
You loving
Yeah.
it? You miss CT yet? Like, what's going on? You coming back? Like, what's the scoop,
I
bro?
always tell people, man, I love CT, man. It's all part of my journey, man.
Yeah,
I, um, when I first moved to CT, I was looking for more. I was looking for more opportunity, and it gave me that, man. It gave me that tenfold.
yeah.
But I learned to be a minimalist, so I just I love going other places and exploring and see what they have to offer. Um, so I love CT, man. I don't miss the cold weather. The only thing I don't
Yeah.
miss about CT,
Yo,
but
so
everything else, of course, man.
I've done
I
I've done
made a
my
lot of good friendships there.
yeah,
Started my business there.
I've done my fair share of traveling, right? And I even try to move a couple different places. And the one thing I always miss about Connecticut, specifically New London, where you were at, where I still am, is just a sense of community. Like we have this small town where everybody knows everybody. And though there's ups and downs and the grapes that people could have, the one thing that we really do have that I think is undeniable is how close the community is and often feels, especially when we're trying to launch things, when we need assistance. Do you feel like the places that you moved to since you've been here have that? Is it better where you're at, or is it as special as I'm claiming that it is?
I definitely think, first of all, I think everywhere has its pros and cons.
Hmm.
When I was living in Connecticut, it does have that. It reminded me of back home. It had that small town feel. People were really
Pittsburgh,
into
right? That's
sports.
that's where you're from, right?
Pittsburgh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, okay.
Pittsburgh. So it gave me that small town feel. Hardworking, blue collar. Hardworking. It gave me that feel.
Yeah,
And to be honest with you, Connecticut supported New London in particular supported me and wifey and Monica
yeah,
on every venture that we've ever done.
yeah,
They're the reason that I'm able to go to Georgia. I started my business there, as you know.
yeah. You know what?
Um,
Let's
and
let's even stop there for a second. Like, let people
yeah,
know what it is that you're doing. You've done a lot of things over time, but I feel like from when I've known you, this has been the most significant, the most important thing to you, and the thing that's kind of like prevailed overall. So let people know what it is that you're doing. Talk about soul fuel supplements and everything that you have going on, and your purpose behind some of that.
well, yeah. As you know, I've been a creative most of my life, brother. When we linked, that's how we linked with, just being creative and creativity.
Mhm.
And we started the video company.
The
Shout out to
media.
Really
Really, media.
Media.
Yo, when I introed you, man, I had to talk about, the time where I met you. I met you through the talent show and we collabed on doing things for the youth. And when I wanted to start this film company, I knew who to go to, to learn what it was that I felt I needed to be able to, make something happen. From there, we launched
Mm,
this company together, man. And just even in that, man, like I know we're kind of jumping right now, but you've
mm,
been so significant in my journey that really media changed my life, bro. And without learning from you, I'm not sure that I would have the access to the knowledge, how easily you made it for me and how willing you were to teach me for me to make that jump. And so I'm forever grateful for knowing you, for having you as a part of the community when you were here and whatnot. Because again, like just knowing you has changed my life in a number of ways, man. And you moved on, from being a part of the film company. Again, you impacted my life, right? And then you jumped into doing Soul Fuel when you parted ways from, the Really Media company, which wasn't a bad split between us. I don't think people ever like have like
yeah,
go separate ways the way we did where it was all love, right? Like we started
yeah.
something and it came to a point where I could realize like something mattered more to you, and
Hmm.
your passion was clearly in creating a line of supplements and things, and provide knowledge for people to live healthier and happier, right? And
Yes.
so taking that on and whatnot, man. And I support that 100%. I use those supplements myself, man. But just to see where you then took that and helping people and showing people love and giving people information the way you did for me with Really Media, that never stopped. It just changed forms and took a greater significant form in what you're doing now. So yeah, talk a little about that, bro.
Absolutely, bro. You took it in and took everything I was about to say, man. No, but
Love.
yeah, man, that's exactly, man. And first of all, let me tell you, it's reciprocal, man. Like, you know, you changed my life. The moment that I met you, bro, and that ain't just no fluff, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Love.
you brought me into a situation where I was already doing photography and video,
Mm-hmm.
and you was like, all right, well, forget this. Let's just make a company, bro. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, facts.
you know, and it showed me that, at that time I was just making my way. I was substitute teaching, and I was still trying to figure things out. And you're absolutely right. There was a problem that I really didn't speak about the whole time since we got out there.
Yeah.
Because it involved Monica, my wifey, and she was getting sicker. You know what I'm saying? We was doing things. I was always, first of all, even when I was doing photography and video, I was still into the holistic lifestyle. I
Mm-hmm.
was still doing herbs. As you know, I still was on the vegan path and everything. But it was, and things were getting tougher for her, so it made me lean more into other things,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't really have time for the business. And you're absolutely right, man. People think whenever you beef with somebody, or no, not even beef. They think when you have to be disrespectful to disagree.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to.
Yeah.
You can have your own opinion. You can have your own lifestyle. You can have everything that you do, and you still don't have to step on nobody else to bring yourself up.
Facts.
It's okay. You
Facts.
know what I mean? And you showed me that by just conversations
Yeah.
that we have, just the way, by the way you show love and respect, and you didn't have to, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's what everybody that you know. It's just I'm a great observer, bro, and I see that you do that with everybody. But that's where, and you're absolutely right. Also, when you said, I took that same strategy, man. I take things that are complex and hard for my brothers and my people to understand,
Yeah.
you know, and I try to break it down into simplicity in the ways that they can understand it. And then you give them the decision if they want to go on from there. But I was, man, I'm grateful enough to live long enough to have learned so many different things.
Yeah.
and still be able to use those in what I'm doing now, which is a coaching, a lifestyle coaching. I'm since then I've gotten certified in detox. I'm a detox specialist, master herbalist, and also a holistic nutritionist is what I have the degree in.
That's fire.
But I was able to use all those and just be a health coach, so I can use all those to help people, man. And that's where my passion is. I can still be creative with it. I'm getting back to doing videos, man.
Yeah.
I wish I was
Fire.
there. I'd be like, yo, I would just hire Really Media
I'm
to do
here.
all my
Come on, man.
videos.
You know I'm here for it, man. And yo, just aside from the information, talk about,
Yes, sir.
you also you create supplements, you create product, for people to use and benefit from in the health space. Talk about some of those, like I know
Well, that's the
you mentioned the
creativity.
inspiration being, wifey being sick, but a lot of these pills go into different, and supplements go into different spaces than just things that Monica was dealing with. You have a full line to really, benefit people in so many ways. Talk a little about those.
Absolutely. So, and that's part of the creativity part of it. I believe that we're all alchemists in nature. We love to create. If you think about your most happiest times in your life, it's usually the times that you're creating. I know it is for me. I can't say for everybody, but creation
Yeah,
is just so natural and pure. So when I'm creating these blends, they have to have purpose, like everything else, right? So there's different purposes. There's different purposes that you might need the herbs for. So when people start wanting to really change their lifestyle, whether it be from healing or whether they just want to just change their lifestyle. I just want to look better. I just want to feel better. Um, I wanted to make sure because part of it, and I'm just going to cut to the chase here. Part of it is we just have to stop poisoning ourselves. We have to stop putting in, the things that are hurting us. When we stop putting those in, it's going to take a lot of fasting. It's going to take a lot of, and eating is an addiction.
yeah,
So I wanted to make sure I was prepared for that because I'm always my first experiment. I wanted to make sure wifey was prepared for that. If we're going to stop eating and change our lifestyle, what?
mm,
Stop eating chicken, pizza, what?
mm.
You know what I
Yo,
mean? I wanted to make sure that we were prepared for it. So I wanted to, and when I really understood minerals and things like that, so I wanted to make sure there was a purpose for it. Every single product that I came out with.
yeah. And
So
I remember
yeah,
taking
that's
your.
awesome.
I never felt better than when I took your 30-day juice cleanse. And you and Monica, y'all would every week y'all would juice different fruit and put different
Yes.
blends together, and that's all I was. That's and also the hemp milk, right? That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Hemp
Yep.
milk.
So
Yeah. The
it
hemp
was
milk.
just those and the fruits that y'all
Yeah.
juiced, and that's what I was on for 30 days, and I never looked or felt any better than at the end of that 30-day juice cleanse that y'all put me on, man. And I really seen the power from hearing the information from you is one thing, and then going through it, being disciplined to make it to the end of that, and then even the supplements, right? Like I've used,
That's what we
complete.
do.
I've used, on the blood pills. I've used Thundercat, and just all of these had significant like impacts on my body. Um, Thundercat, like so taking some of them, like you might not feel like a significant boost in anything at first that you could identify that is like undoubtedly this is definitely working, right? But Thundercat,
Hmm.
is something that you created that I think the benefits were, as a post workout, I think, was one of the ways to use it. And
Yes.
also like it had the libido boost. And, I'm still a young guy, so, I don't really struggle in the libido space, but I felt the, I felt a significant difference. And so did Shorty at the time.
Right.
And, so
Right.
just feeling, like the impact of natural remedies as opposed to over the counter things that has negative impacts on the bodies or just isn't natural. You don't know what you're putting in your body. It was dope
Absolutely.
to just feel that naturally, like we could reach out to somebody like yourself or just be knowledgeable and know what to put in our bodies in order to
Right.
heal, repair, feel better. You have pills that you know, for pain, and you know, women on their menstrual cycle, and just so
Hmm.
many different causes. You have, you know, pills that revolve around like really healing in the cancer space. Like you have a lot going on, man. So yeah,
Yeah,
just dive into all of those.
yeah, I don't want to correct you, but well, so the FDA came at me, man. I shared it on social media a while ago.
Hmm.
I can't use supplements anymore. I'm not going to use supplements anymore. So they're blends,
Hmm.
herbs. I can call them blends. I can call them herbs. So
Does that
I
mean
even
that they're
changed
not
the
in the pill
website.
space no more, in the pill form no more, or what
Oh,
is
they're still what they are. I
what you're
just had to
titling it?
change, take the
Okay,
name out.
got you.
Actually, yeah, I got attacked for that and some other stuff that I didn't do.
Yeah.
But I did end up getting my domain back. I have the domain,
Mhm.
so you can still go. You can go to soulfuelsupplements.com or you can go to soulfuelblends.com. Um, but yeah, exactly what you said, man. The purpose that I was talking about when I first started talking about the herbs. So the complete is definitely I wanted some if we were going to stop if we were going to stop eating or we were going to change our eating and we were going to do a lot of fasting, I wanted to make sure we had our mineral count. So that's what Soul Fuel Complete was.
Mhm.
And then I'll jump around to a few other ones. I believe that the first thing you should do is cleanse your body.
Yeah,
So
that one I
I
felt a
really
significant impact too, for sure, for sure.
yeah, so I really
Yeah.
wanted to work on the detoxing herbs. I wanted to have one. It was called Soul Fuel Clean,
Yeah.
and it was really a good detoxer with some of the herbs in it. Castor sagrada stimulates the bowel movement.
Mhm.
I don't want to go too deep into it. I could be here forever talking about herbs.
That's
You know, I love
the
herbs.
natural laxative right there.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
definitely. Like Soul Fuel Clean, it's actually I wanted to make it anti-parasitic too. So I wanted to make it kill parasites. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And I got some nasty, nasty pictures that clients sent me of,
Mm.
killing parasites over the years. But it definitely works.
Wait, they sent
Um,
pictures of like their shit, and like they sent that shit to you?
oh yeah, yeah.
yo, yo,
Parasites
yo,
in the
the
toilet.
relationship you got with your clients is
Hey,
unmatched.
it's intimate.
I don't ever
It,
want to be
it,
that close.
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't even want to be that close, man. But I can't diagnose or prescribe. I can't diagnose somebody, and I can't prescribe medications.
Yeah,
So, there's other ways that you can self-diagnose and you can find things. One of the ways is through your stool, is
yeah.
through your poop. So sometimes, yeah, I do got to look at those pictures as well as people's pee as well.
Mhm.
It tells me a lot about the body without having to, them actually having to tell me what's going on. But I have something new, some other detoxers too. I had one that it wasn't on the website for a long time, and because I was making it custom for every client.
Yeah,
So anybody that needed kidney or liver cleanse, I was, putting different blends together. But now I put it all into one blend. So, how many people don't suffer from kidney or liver problems? It should be the question,
mhm,
because usually when you're backed up or you're having problems with detoxing, it's usually your kidneys because your kidneys do that job for you. So, I wanted to make sure that blend was taken right alongside of the other detox herbs that I have.
yeah.
Now there's some other ones too. So they're called nootropics, which people love because I love them because it helped me get off of all the meds that I used to be on. I used to be diagnosed with bipolar, ADHD. So bipolar. So around this time, I would shut down
Yeah.
literally. And you probably didn't notice when I
Nah,
first moved to
not at all, bro.
Connecticut, but
This is like news to me. Like I never had any kind of indication that any of that was going on.
yeah, I would get depressed, man, and not really want to be around people in the wintertime.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you probably think back now, you probably be like, "Oh, okay,
Hmm.
I understand now."
Yeah, yeah,
But I would just make myself ghost and avoid people a lot till
yeah.
the summertime.
That's right. That's right.
But I was taking Adderall, I was taking Xanax, I was taking all these other things, so I wanted to replace those.
Yeah,
When you're talking about any addiction, you need to be able to reduce the amount you're bringing in first, and this is with any addiction, food. If anybody's listening, You should reduce the amount that you're putting in first, because our body likes rhythm. It doesn't like to be shocked. It doesn't like to be surprised. That's why cold turkey, you got to have a strong mind. So you reduce the amount you're taking, and then you eventually replace it with something better. And that's how you beat addiction. And it sounds a lot easier than it actually is. But that's what I used. That's where the crown comes into play. The Soul Fuel Crown.
Mm-hmm.
It gave me that anxiety relief. It gave me mental energy. It started restoring neurons in my brain. I could remember things.
Yeah, but I say that
I
was the
can
one to
feel more.
eliminate brain fog. I remember that too. I did use Crown before.
Right. So crown, and then the stress less is the other nootropic. Nootropic just means for the brain or brain health.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started using stress less, which has ashwagandha, and it has blue vervain to for the nerves and things like that. So those are usually my best sellers and my top sellers. I have things for other purposes, of course, but
Yeah.
um, those are the main things that I think that plague most of our society. Other than blood issues or heart issues or anything like that. I think. Oh, actually, I have a new one that you would probably like, especially if you like Thundercat. It's called Soul Fuel uh, Go Hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Soul Fuel Go Hard, and it has a little bit of all of my most potent supplements in it. It has, um, it has Tomcat Ali from the Thundercat. It has sea moss from the Complete. But the main ingredient in it, I don't know if you ever heard it. It's called a Shilajit. Have you ever heard of Shilajit?
You know what? I remember talking to you about it. You know why you also, I think, was talking to me about it. If you remember, about 6 months ago, I hurt my ankle, and you were talking about like muscle repair and
Yes.
stuff like that. I think this was the supplement that also has benefits in that space too. Correct?
Yeah, it's definitely a muscle recovery supplement, just like the Thundercat,
Hmm.
and it would have definitely it's, it's definitely great for because you're getting all your minerals there.
Yeah.
And with Shilajit, you're getting fulvic acid, which has just a ton of benefits. I can't, so many that it'd just be wild to even try to name them here.
Yeah.
But that's my new best-selling
Yeah. I'm
supplement,
about
what I
I'm
would
about to
have to
hit
say.
the site and get some of that right now, man. Let's see what's going
Yeah.
on.
But for muscle and bone health, I'm surprised I didn't give you my standard, which is I don't even have it. I don't even sell it. But I tell people to get comfrey, a comfrey wrap,
Hmm.
and put that on there. Put that on the area that's sore or that needs repaired, and you put that on every night before you go to bed, and it speeds the process up by like 80%.
Yeah.
You could
Word.
ask any of my clients of
Wait. What
that are
is that
trying to
again?
heal.
What is it?
It's called comfrey.
Hmm.
C O
What is
M
that?
F R E Y. It's a plant that it contains a lot of minerals to rebuild your bone.
Okay.
Okay, so if it has the minerals to rebuild your bone, then it's going to be also beneficial to your connective tissue or your muscle. So um, definitely, if anybody doesn't know about that, comfrey wraps, castor oil wraps, and if you need more information on that, I do have a book that's out on Amazon. It's called Soulistic Healing, and that information is listed there too as well.
Mm. My man writing books, providing free information, just really out here
Yeah,
helping the people. I know you was even doing you had services where like you were connecting with people one on one just to talk to them about overall health and well being aside from just your supplements. Like or was this a part of, you had a client base that you were providing
yeah,
these one
it's a
on ones with?
client base. It's a
Yeah.
growing client base of clients that I have from coaching.
Mhm.
So I have that, and I also I'm starting a venture. It's actually called Free Energy. What it is creating basically like a yellow pages for health information. Like if you're in a particular town, anybody can participate. Let's say you got a can you hear me?
Yep,
Sorry about that. I had a
absolutely.
call coming through.
Hmm.
Let's say that you have a health business or you're an influencer that talks about health or you just make facial creams or anything about health. You can list yourself to be in this. this network of health information, and that's why I'm calling it free energy. And actually, I'm trying to set it up now to where the businesses actually, they're going to fund and fund the site. The site is going to run itself. They're going to be able to add their businesses to it if they pay, and it'll just be like like a green sign saying, "Hey, I'm here." Because a lot of people, when they go to different towns or they travel around, they don't know where to find health information or
Yeah.
to go to pick up some sea moss or go to pick up, some facial creams or just health, anything holistic or healthy. They don't know. So I do have that initiative going as well. And I also got another book coming out, brother. It's called Earth's Alchemy, and it's telling people how to make their own medicine. It's showing you how to make tinctures, how to make capsules, what blends to put together for different
Oh,
situations.
you giving
So
away
I
the
have that coming
formula.
out real soon. Yeah,
Nah, that's fire, man. Yo, you've always, I mentioned that you in the intro that you've always been, from my standpoint, and anybody that knows you, man, a person of integrity, a person, of purpose, and a person, that's passionate about what they're doing. Like nothing that I've ever known you to do has it's never been solely about money, man. And when you look at the field that you're in right now, actually a lot of what you're doing goes against the grain, and there's a thousand other things that you could be doing that you could make a dollar a lot easier. In a time
absolutely,
in a
brother.
world where the fast food drive-throughs are always filled, and not too many people are so worried about their health, or even believe or want to believe the damage that they're doing to their bodies, and let alone spending extra money on things that might cost a bit to benefit themselves in that space. And gym memberships, those are scarce. When you're talking to people about getting
Yeah,
in the gym,
definitely.
I often argue with some of the homies, like, just shows that like people aren't, this is not like the thing that you're involved in because you were about to take the most lucrative path and make a lot of money here, but you did it because of the purpose and the intention behind it. What is it that has you
Absolutely.
so passionate about just helping people in this way, to to the extent where you're putting so much time that could go into so many other places, just for you to help the well-being of the people around you or all the people in your reach? Like, what, tell me about
Right.
the fire behind that.
To be honest, I had to go through it, brother. I mean, we talked a little bit about experience, just gaining experience and experiment or brothers, when I went through the process, I became more spiritual. And when I don't know how it is for everybody else, but when I can't became more spiritual, I realized the things that don't really matter. The
Yeah.
all the things that I was spending time on and worried about. I didn't have to worry about those things. And then with that, I became more grateful for everything I did have. You know, everything I do have, and then the power of healing, not healing, it's not like I'm going out, I'm laying hands on people like Jesus or nothing, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? What I'm doing is I'm showing people their superpowers, bro. I feel like a Morpheus waking up Neos all the time, you know what I'm saying? Like, because when people realize, like you said, when people realize that they have the power to heal themselves, it is a powerful thing. And then people start looking at other things in their life, like, what else
Mm.
can I fix?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it became, I became addicted to that feeling, man. I love seeing people discover their superpowers. And then what happens after that, my brother, is they have the power now to influence people in their families and help people in their families. Now I can give an example. And I have the right to mention her name because it's just one of my favorite clients ever, and she always says, "Hey, you can use me as an example." She had I have a client, and she was dealing with CKD. If you don't know what that is, that's chronic kidney disease.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the worst that it can get, and she a couple years ago she had just lost a son. She had twin boys, and just their eating habits and the situation that they were living in. They were living in a house where there was a situation with a landlord, didn't fix something, so they were getting toxins from everywhere. They were getting
Mm.
toxins from the house. Their diets were poor. They were going and they were spending a lot of money back and forth to the hospital trying to figure out what's wrong. And in the process, she lost her son. You know,
Wow.
he died from chronic kidney disease. Imagine losing a child, right? And then she comes to me as the last hope. And in 3 months, we totally reversed her chronic kidney disease,
Wow.
right? But then, she's so emotionally free now, and because we talk about other things too. We like to get to the root, and you can't get to the root if you don't go through the mind first, besides the body. But when I showed her how to heal herself, she was crying, and rightfully so, because imagine if she had the information a couple years earlier,
Yeah.
you know.
Wow.
Imagine if she had the information to heal kidneys a few years earlier. That's why it matters,
Yeah.
And this is the information we're supposed to be passing down. So healing isn't just one thing. It's that's why I call it holistic. I had to put my touch on it, holistic healing. But
Got a ring to
it's
it,
it's the
man.
whole picture. It's the
Yeah.
whole picture. It can be mental. You talk about it a lot, man. I love what you're doing. You talk about therapy and things like that because we as a community, we it's not cool to talk about that type of stuff. You're making it cool to talk about therapy. You see what I'm saying?
Love.
And that's what we have to do with health information. We have to make it cool to be healthy, to live longer,
Mind, body,
to be
soul, man.
happier.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Nah, solid, man. Yo, like, yeah, that's wild, man. And so, yo, with the lady, her reverse of her diagnosis, like, how common is that? Like, is that something that happens often? Like, what, like, how does how?
To be honest with you, completely honest with you, it's hard to do.
Mhm.
But she was ready because sometimes it takes something so tragic for us to be like, all right, I'm ready to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And what she had to do, she had to give up solid foods. You have to give your kidneys a chance to heal. So we went on a lot of solid food vacations, for lack of a better term. But we kept her with the soul fuel. We kept her with minerals. So she still was energized. And once you break the addiction of food, it is the best thing that I mean. It is really a saying. Like if you can control what you eat, you really can control any other aspect of your life. So that's what she did. We gave her a solid protocol. She did it so well that she said, "I need more of a challenge because I need to take my mind off of just being stressed." So I put her on an exercise plan. Exercise, walking, deep diaphragmatic breathing, meditation. Meditation is important because you set your goals for the day. You literally can set what type of day you want to have. Sometimes it doesn't go, all like that, but these are the things that she did that she didn't want to listen to before. Just like the kids that I have. I have kids as clients as well.
Mm.
They skip over the protocol that says diaphragmatic breathing. They laugh at me like I'm an old timer. They're like, I know how to breathe, man. Come on. I'm like, no, you don't.
Word.
Oh, you guys are probably mouth breathing. You know what I'm saying? When I tell people that diaphragmatic breathing is one of the things that saved my life. Because I was so overreactive, my brother. I was so overreactive and so living in my head all the time. So when you're stressed or when you're reactive and when you're in fear, your body cuts off oxygen to your brain, so you literally can't even think. You can't even
Yeah.
think.
Mm.
So that's why I tell everybody before you do anything or make any decision, take a deep breath. Like literally just inhale 3, 4 seconds, hold it, and exhale, and do that 3 times, and then make your decision. You need oxygen in the brain. So I don't know where I was going with that. I don't even know how I got there,
Nah,
but
you still talking that talk, man. People taking care of themselves, and you know what I mean. Like,
oh
when
yeah, that's what she did, man. And there's some other things, of course. that we had to pivot a few times and, allow her to eat certain things, certain solids that are easily digestible to get through it, certain soups and things like that. And now she's at homeostasis, which is balance. So she can eat solid food sometimes, and she can juice most of the time. But she knows that she's not going to clog them kidneys back up again.
Yeah.
So
Do
um
you feel like the people that you're able to reach or that's like receptive to the information you're providing, does that only happen, when people hit like some type of rock bottom? Like a lot of people don't,
yeah,
like their like views and what they have known to believe, or people don't like to be uncomfortable, right? Like, and you're
yeah,
challenging a lot of comfort. You're challenging a lot of information that people have been programmed to believe or live by throughout their entire lives. Are you having any success reaching people
yeah.
before they come to you in crisis?
Well, to be honest with you, no. That's the downside. That's the downside that people have to really, you know, be faced with so like certain challenges just to start listening to the information, right? Because a lot of people they're just stuck in their ways, man. A lot of people think it's too late for them. I hear that a lot. Oh, it's too late for me. Um, and they don't have any I don't know. They don't think about the future. They don't think about the kids' future. Some people are just ready to check out.
Yeah.
But you got some people that um, they have something to live for. That's why we go over purpose first. Okay, why are you even coming to me first of all? I need to know. So
Yeah.
when I do the intake form, I need to know why you're coming to me. How'd you find me? A lot of people come to me because they can't get a hold of Yaki, who's a real influential healer in our community, because they say I give some of the same information.
Yeah.
Um, but you're right, man, and it is. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, this is so glorious. But that is the challenge. I've had clients swear at me, curse at me because they were in pain. And that's part of me understanding and having to be the coach and understanding what they're going through. It takes experience to know what they're going through and be able to choose the right words or the right protocol to give somebody, and having a way to be able to connect with people,
Yeah.
because so many people, once their antennas get back up, once they're receptive to the information, I think it becomes a lot easier. But it is hard because it's going against the grain, like you said,
Yeah.
of society. And every most of people's problems, they are systemic, which means, like, man, there's nothing that you can do about it, right? But understand that even though it's systemic, right? It still requires us to run. It still requires our participation and our focus
Yeah.
to be destructive, right? So we have to have other things to focus on. We have to have our purpose. So I ask people, what is their purpose? Like, is it for do you want to become better so you can play with your kids, or live longer,
Yeah.
or, I need to know why so we can form your protocol around that. How active are you during the day? Because there could be some little things that I could tell them just on a consultation that they can change, and they might not need coaching.
Yeah.
Some people are self-motivated, but all they need to just give me to tell me what to do, and I'll do it. You know, but you do. That's why I call Karen my favorite client, because she was ready to listen. She was at the point where she was like, hey, I'm tired of everything. I'm tired of the doctors. I'm tired of spending money on other herbalists and other supplements. What can you do for me? And I told her what I could do, and she listened. You know, and not to say that other clients don't listen. We've when I say we, I'm talking about me and Monica. We successfully helped, assisted people in reversing everything from AIDS, cancer, herpes. Herpes, we get a lot. We That's easy. People come to me and they're a little embarrassed, of herpes. But once I help them understand what it is, tell them what to eat, give them the herbs, and they never have any outbreaks again. You know, once you understand that it's possible, then so many possibilities open up. So that's what I try to do as a coach, man. I just try to give people the information, and if they're not really receptive at that time, just keep planting the seeds, And I have to um, pull myself or distance myself from people who are speaking negative. It's so much more important now in what I do because I have to keep my cup filled because I pour all day long. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can only afford to be around positive people.
Yo, and some
I
people are even like negative with positive information. Like sometimes people have like things that
Yes.
they hope to help people with, right? Or things that could benefit people. But the way they go about pushing that knowledge, whether it's religion, whether it's like health and wellness and lifestyle changes, so people are often so in your face about things, and the message never even reaches the people that it's intended for because of the way the messenger is going about pushing that knowledge, man.
Yes.
And I've always been appreciative of the way you went about, being so graceful with your cause and your purpose, man. Because by all means, I'm not perfect. I'll eat a double cheeseburger, and sometimes I'll skip the gym for weeks on at a time. But I remember talking to you and your approach always being just understanding and about just making a better decision sometimes, right? Like if
Yes.
I eat one better
Absolutely.
meal, or if I just add fruit on top of the bullshit that I was already eating, that, like it was a very encouraging way of going about it. And, when I start to feel certain benefits from just the small wins, from the little changes that I make, then it makes you want to, take things a step further. Like, yo, if I, lost that pound doing like this, what if I change, this right here? If I got more energy like this, or I'm sleeping better because of this, what if I take it a step further? And
Yes.
just your
Yes.
way of, applying your information and, connecting with people in a very human and loving way, man. I think that's why you're very successful when people do have the opportunity and experience with you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yes, because and to answer your question, I forgot. There is some that I don't accept. There's some clients that I don't accept because of their approach, and you're right. It's not about money to me. That is not the thing that drives me. Could I need more?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, we needed to keep
I
the
could
lights
possibly
on,
need
but it's
more.
not what you. It's never
Absolutely.
been the centerpiece of anything.
Absolutely, brother. And as far as everybody, a lot of people being negative at the positive, that's I believe that's systematic too. And that's why, I give everybody grace, man. I understand what's happening to them. I think everybody should actually focus on themselves, understand what's happening to them, and then they would have a little bit more sympathy for other people and be more empathetic to what a lot of people are going through. I think that's why my approach is more understanding and more open because I literally try to um, put myself in other people's situations, you know, especially and that's another reason why I try to gain so much experience. So um, I can be able to help them from that place of experience and knowing, and not just trying to guess or try to sound fancy or try to sound like a doctor
Yeah.
or repeat what somebody else has done. Let's try some things you haven't tried before. Let's do some things you haven't done before. That's more of the lens that I try to look at everything through, my brother.
No, that's real, man. And yo, I definitely appreciate you taking the time, and it's always dope catching up with you. Before I know you had a meeting to get to, and I've kind of overstayed my welcome here on this call, man. Just let
No,
people
no, no,
know.
hold on. Let me say why I took this because I always know whatever you're doing. I didn't even know what you were doing. I didn't
Yeah,
even know, you know what I mean? But I just knew because I've spent time around you that I knew it was coming from a place of love.
absolutely.
I knew what you were, whatever it's doing, it's going to impact the community because Frank loves his community. That's one thing that I learned.
Love.
Yeah, man, I just wanted to say appreciate you for even think about me to bring me on.
Nah, likewise, man. Aside from you being my brother, man, just everything you stand for and represent. Like again, the integrity, the purpose, the passion is all. It always shines bright. And I mean, when we think about who Tiger Carper is and what he does, man, and Soul Fuel supplements was designed, for people, man. It was designed for people to feel better about themselves, to feel better in life, to live longer and experience life at the highest level. And me, man, it's always mind, body, and soul. That's what I push. That's what I talk about a lot, and it matters a lot to me. And I always say that, I just want friends that, when I'm 55 years old, we can still hit the ball courts, and be healthy and just,
Yeah.
enjoy each other for as long as possible. And, what you're doing, creates, paves the way for that to be, a more achievable outcome, man. So I always push, everything that I hear from you. I try to, take it word for word as best as I can and pass it to the homies. I tell them about the supplements and, just the overall idea of, well-being and taking care of ourselves, man. With that,
Yeah.
let people know where they could find your books at, how they could, see, and order some of the supplements. Let people know how they could find you and reach you, like any information you have for the people to be connected.
Well, yeah, thank you, my brother. If anybody wants to reach out to me, um, they would have to go through the website. They would have to go through the website to soulfuelblends.com. Go to soulfuelblends.com, and if you wanted to book a consultation, uh, just to speak and not have any kind of attachments, you can do that there. You just have to go to the knowledge page and read the disclaimer. The disclaimer that, that just states that I'm not a medical doctor, and it tells you I'm a detox specialist, and it basically just protects both parties and says what I said earlier. I can't diagnose and prescribe. And then once they send that initial uh, email that says, "Hey, I read the disclaimer," then I that starts everything for me. And then we can it opens the line of communication as far as me contacting them, finding out what their needs are, the intake forms, anything like that. For anything else, you can go there and you can just shop all, and then there's everything's categorized. So if you're looking for a detox, you can look under detox. If you're looking for herbs that build, you can look under that, nutrition and things like that. So, yeah, the website, I would say definitely go there, show some love and show some support. I do have a book out on Amazon right now. It's called Soulistic Healing. So far, I'm all 5 stars so far. So,
Hey,
so far, what I mean. I appreciate everybody who bought the book, read the book,
hmm
showed me love. Definitely appreciate it.
got
And I
mine.
also want to always, when I leave, I would like to leave a message for the youth because that's what I really do it for anybody who's coming after us, right? It's like me planting my tree. Um, and I don't get to sit in the shade. But um, to the young people out there, the younger people in the community, I just want people to remember that you're just a small part of something that's much bigger and much older than you. Okay, but you're a part of that. Okay, you're a part of you're the next. It's like being you're the next verse in a long, beautiful like script of healing and growth. Okay, so just keep writing your story. Stay curious, stay rooted in, the wisdom and the people that have, gave you the information, the people that, laid the path for you, and no matter what it is, the past gives you strength, but your future is going to give you the wings. Okay, so
Mm.
that's all I wanted to say, man. That I wanted to let people know that they matter. They're all in this. They're a part of this, no matter where they at on their health journey. You know what I'm saying? It's never too late.
Your past gives you the strength. Your future gives you the wings.
Yes,
Bars,
sir.
man. We're not even going to get into the fact that you was a rapper, and I mean in the past life too, man. Well, we're gonna save that for part two of the interview, brother.
My brother, man.
Yo, I love
Nah,
you.
it's
I
all love.
appreciate you, man. Congratulations on everything, man. And again, I'm about to hit the site to see what these new supplements about. And yeah, it's just a blessing to have you on here and just to be connected to you in any way, brother. So once again, thank you. I love you and I appreciate you, man.
Thank you. Love you, brother. Keep doing your thing.
My man.
Quite frankly, let's go.
My guy, my dog, my dog.
All right, bro.
Yes,
Peace.
sir. So much information, man. A real intentional person, and just a blessing in my life in so many ways, man. From the film company that I started to his involvement in the youth programming and just his role in my wellness and health journey. I always call Tiger. There was times where going through the pandemic, getting information and wellness supplements to just make sure my immune system was intact, and just to have somebody around you with that positive energy, man. That's looking to impart into the people around him. Forever appreciative of my dog, Tony Carper, Tiger, Tony Carper, whatever you know him as, man. Soul Fuel Supplements. Check them out. Reach out, talk to them, test out the supplements for yourself, man. But I know they work magic on my body, and I'm gonna continue rocking with my guy, man. What a great episode, Quite Frankly Tho podcast. I love y'all, and I'm out of here.